Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover. Exceptionally common sense.
It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like Grandma's meatballs, or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hey everyone, this is the Almost World Podcast. Bringing to you mind-blowing interviews with guests from all over the world. So settle down, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like the podcast, please support Elmo's World Podcast on Patreon. Your support is what helps the podcast improve more and more. James Lyons Sr. is from Sacramento, California. He's a father and a driver, and he's just a jack of all trades, and he's 45 years old now. And I think that he is a product of the system in California, and I think he has a lot to tell us about what really matters here. And so, James, I want to ask you, do you think philosophy is still important in the modern age?
Philosophy is the root of everything that we have. I mean, without the thinking man's game, we would have none of what we do now. Yes, it matters very much. Very important.
Okay, but why do you think opening our intellects is important? But because I for one see that economical problems are more important to solve rather than trying to find and answer questions that we will never actually answer in hundreds of years.
That's a branch of philosophy where they reach to try to find the answers that we can't answer in 100 years. There's branches of philosophy that deal specifically with economics. You and I probably have two different philosophies on what's going to solve these problems economically. Personally, I don't deal with economics too much. That's another man's game. Again, numbers matter, and that's a science as well.
Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of philosophy, what part of philosophy is really important to you? Ethics, metaphysics. What part do you usually dwell in?
I venture into all forms whenever, to distract myself from whatever I'm going through. I'll do pretty much anything when it comes to philosophy, because I'm just trying to learn more. So I like it when people talk about stuff and they make it accessible, because it gives the layman, you and I, the opportunity to learn things that we didn't know. There's so much I've learned in these last, these last few months. I mean, there's things I didn't know about how fragile our economic system was. I mean, I too laughed at Yang when Yang was saying the stuff he was saying, but now, I mean, it's not so funny. It's really not. So yeah, I try to stick to religion because my main focus is the spiritual awareness and the spiritual recovery of everything, of everybody, of everyone. I don't like the divide. I tend to stick to there, but I also deal with politics because that's very important. But it all stems off of economics, because money is what makes the world seemingly go round. I don't believe that's true, but right now we all seem to bend and buckle to making the money and spending our time making the money. But it has to happen. We have to put into the system to get out of the system. So
okay,
yeah.
But I really understand your point there. But for someone who grew up from the system, how would you as an individual find out what really matters. We know that we need money to survive, but when you solve the money problem, what do you think is the meaning of life?
One of your questions there was I had children, and that changed everything. That's when I realized what really mattered. I have to find time to raise these children right. It's a sustainable future. That to me is I think the answer to both of your questions. There might have been another question that you had in there also. I might have missed it.
Yeah, but so what do you mean by all of us? Because when you say that, what is the purpose of my life and how would I find it? You say your children. How do you make that the reason?
I've spent my whole life in all the scriptures. I've been in multiple different Christian branches. I consider myself at the core a Christian. I believe it is what it is. Beyond that, I've spent the rest of my time outside the Christian walls, studying the rest of the scriptures, because I believe a loving God loves us all. When I say all of us, I mean all of us. We're all on this rock together. For some reason, he split us apart, or we're split apart, or we're separated. We have these divisions between us, but we have the opportunity to come together. We choose not to. We allow fear to keep us separate. We don't talk to our brothers about what makes us afraid of our brothers, because we're afraid, which is crazy. It's a perpetual cycle. When I say all of us, I mean all of us. We each have a dutiful responsibility to raise good, healthy children, and to not have them be raised in a world full of fear. I might be getting off topic, but that's what my belief is. When I say all of us, I mean all of us. And my life's purpose, I figured it out. Like, I didn't know, man. Yeah. Half my life, I thought I was going to drop dead at any moment. That's what the doctors had told me. And then God blessed me with the opportunity to have children, and one after another, each one of them progressively changed my life in a better way. And then I started looking around and smelling the roses and talking to people and trying to love on people in situations where it seemed like love was the only thing missing. And I just watched that progressively. I don't know, the ball just started rolling for me. And then, of course, a lot of negative happened over the last 2 years, but it's scriptural. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. Christian persecution, the fact that we're going to be drugged through the coals for loving a loving God, that all this stuff that's coming to pass it's all written, it's all in prophecy, and we try to pretend it's not been prophesized, and that people haven't been thumping this Bible for years telling us to watch out for these days, but they're here. I mean, we're trying to act like it isn't, but the signs are everywhere. And now the question really is, what do we do about it? We've got these conceptualizations that it's what they say it is, but it's not. It's not what they say it is. It is what it is. It's not what it wasn't. It's every day is coming up. Tomorrow's not a guarantee. If it comes, it's a blessing. And we all have this opportunity to take each other by the hand and walk each other through all of this, whatever this is that's going on. As far as I know, the Antichrist, or whatever that archetype is, or whatever you want to say about that, hasn't really been exposed. So we still have time. Beyond that, there's the philosophies of, the other, Taoism, obviously, is one of my strong loves. We're sitting here trying to explain the unexplainable, a lot of us, if that's what we're trying to do. I just focus on what I can see, what I can touch, and what I can know, and the stuff that I can't speak truthfully on and I can't evidence, I try not to even speak on, because it drives people insane. But there's a lot going on that we all are experiencing that is abnormal, supernatural, if you will, unexplainable. We're all going through this together, but we're trying to look at each other as if it's not us that's going through it. You know what I mean? I can't really explain it, because it's, again, unevidenceable. Until we all come together, we're not going to really be able to evidence what the true problem is. I do know that, economically speaking, we're all in a pinch. Everyone, but a few, a very, 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 very slim few. And
that might be something that we should all come together and focus on, because there's a lot of pie to go around, but there's not really a lot of pie being divided. And instead, people want to. There's so many divides right now. Race, the heck, gender. That's funny. It just doesn't make sense. In the end of the day, people are worshiping money. It's what one man can do for another man that matters most to the first man, and we might either want to accept that, admit that, and move forward on that, or address that if that needs to change. I don't know if it needs to change. I just personally try to do for others, and in hopes that someday, in some way, it'll all come back around. That's what I thought the Paying It Forward movement was about. I don't know what happened. Completely honest with you, I wasn't even fully aware, probably can't say I am yet, even fully aware of what socialism is or was, or how it's perceived, until Bernie came on the scene and these so-called democratic socialists showed up. In common with communism, I don't understand it. I haven't studied it. I can't say anything about it. To me, people that live on communes are cool, though. I like those people, and I've seen them labeled as communists my whole life, and I've met these people. They're just like us. They're capitalists. Yeah, I don't, again, I have to fall back on, there has to be some sort of, we together as a people that are going to be ruled by the laws that are coming to pass down the pipe. We all need to agree on them, instead of having a few individuals decide what laws all of us have to follow, why they basically find their way around to make profit off of, because that's the deal with the laws of man that are in place now. They're all profiting the slim few. Not all of us agreed to all those laws. The native inhabitants of many lands are basically profited off of, live in squalor, and aren't, their natural God-given offering to the world is being squandered out by other people who are profiting it off of it while they remain poor. Things like that matter in the grand scheme of things. It's not, life's not fair. So for me to say it's not fair, it's just, it's going to make people laugh, but it's not right. There has to be some sort of equal balance. I know I personally didn't agree to all the laws that are in place, and we have fought civil wars over removing laws that used to be in place that are no longer in place. People died. We've got to come together and do better. We should probably just, create a community police union, if you will. And I don't just mean, to defund the police and all that. That's retarded. I'm not even trying to go down that road. I'm talking about, we need to start making enforceable laws so that whoever we put in place to enforce those laws has something to enforce, and there won't be that many arguments because we all agreed upon those laws. Something like that. Do I know how to make it happen? I don't know, man. I keep trying, but it takes more than just one man to do anything. It takes a lot of people. We all got to come together, and yeah, I don't know if that's a communist world view, bro. I really don't. I'm an American. I'm not anything but an American. I don't have any loyalties outside of American soil. I love the whole Americas. I believe in incorporated Americas. I believe the Americas could work together, and we don't need any of that European drama. And then I'm not even trying to fault them and all that other stuff that's going on over there. If everybody took care of their own house, their own little area, took care of their own neighborhoods, I think there'd be less war. I've said it before on Facebook and posts that people were like, oh, you're crazy. I've said the eye has everything. We have oil. We have everything we need. Why are we dependent on NATO? Why are we still letting them tell us what's right and wrong? Or whatever you want to call that cluster of people that run the show, that tell us what we can do, why they do the opposite and profit off of it. I don't want to bend to those people no more. Personally, I think that's the biggest problem facing the world. And yes, I'm pretty big on thinking America leads the world. And if we're going to be the first order, black, white, or brown, blended, Mexican, however you want to call it, if we're going to be the first order, the American people, we need to be first. We need to be the first ones to step up and take that mantle and provide something for the rest of the world to follow, because the path we're on is obviously one to destruction. It doesn't lead to good, positive things. But it's been quite a while. I don't want to bring up the Templars, but I kind of feel a certain way about the American military force, and I kind of feel like there may be a lot of people out there that kind of feel the same way, and I don't really like the cross-imaging so much, because the Templars are one thing and we're another, but we've kind of taken the mantle, if you will, is what I'm trying to say. Is, you know, America provides safe passage for everybody in the world, everywhere. That was what the Templars did, and you know, America first. It is what it is. Beyond that, we lead in everything. The world follows us. It's. I mean, people are mad about it and they cry about it, complain about it, but I mean, it is the melting pot for a reason. It's where all of everything good comes to rest. And I'm not saying good things aren't from other places. I love all of everything, and someday I want to go see where it all came from to bless my beautiful nation, this promised land, if you will. But the reality it all gets sharpened here. Iron sharpens iron, and this is where, you know, you can't just land here and make it. You have to put in some work, and people mistake it. This place is just, it's beautiful, and the people that we have all become, all of us, we help the world move forward, and there's people out there want to pull us back. They want to break us apart. They want to stay, you know, we'll just say it's England. I'm not picking on England. Got a lot of love for some English folks. But, you know, I can't just pin it out any better than the rest of you. But we'll just say it used to be England that held that mantle. And, you know, or some would say it was the Jews. The Bible kind of says it was the Jews. But the mantle has obviously been getting passed. And America has the opportunity to do something right with the mantle while they have it. That's how I feel. I'm not saying the rest of the world is behind. I'm just saying if America wants to be first, they need to be first. And it's kind of not fair, because we are the melting pot. We take the best of every world, every nation, every people, and put it together. So, I mean, you guys can try to compete if you want, but it seems like you're having problems with diversities elsewhere, or whatever you want to call it. And I think that's a self-inflicted wound, personally. I think everybody can do it. But at least America does it right.
Okay, yeah, I understand your point. Then, if America were to be first, which president would help it be first? Trump or Biden? I want to know your answer on that, and please describe it very specifically.
Well, it's almost been Trump's advertising campaign and slogan the whole time. I got to be honest with you. I'm not really a fan of the democratic system setup right now. And when I speak of America being first, obviously everybody thinks, and it does imply, the United States of America mainly. Trump has an opportunity right now to incorporate the Americas and do something right, to overturn the crap that Reagan got us in, to do something right with that, to make a turn. Do I think Biden has the balls to do that? No, I don't. Think it's going to take someone brash, bold, controversial. And you know, I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not. I used to preach against him long before he even got on the political format. Literally in the church, talked many times about how he might be the high priest of the one world government spoken of in the Bible, which I think is capitalism. But I would have to go with Trump on this one. But he's going to have to stop being racist and stop acting like building a wall is going to solve the problem that we created in when we started the drug war. We need to he needs to stop avoiding that issue. He needs to man up, drain the swamp, do all that stuff that he promised, or I believe there won't be another presidential campaign. And I hate to say that way, but I see the tides and the turmoil and the frustration and the people stocking up on toys that they just want to use. It's crazy, man. The reality is, I don't think Biden has what it takes to get us out of the shit Trump got us in the first place. And the shit was coming anyways. Pardon my language. This is probably a kid-friendly show. I think somehow or another, Obama barely navigated out of it and around it. It might have been someone made, way up there, made the decision that the black people had been through enough. Even, I don't know. But there were whispers in the woodwork way, 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 way back there in Obama's presidency of this type of stuff that we're going through right now. I mean, obviously we all know that Trump was warned. There's a reason for that. Apparently, I think that there's a lot we don't know about what's going on out there. So my final answer would have to be Trump. I consider myself BLM, even though I'm a lighter shade of black. I have no black blood that I know of. My brother says there is. I don't know. Never checked. Don't care. I'm an American, and Black Lives Matter. Poor lives matter. The police shouldn't be killing people. They should be trained better. They need to be better educated. The reality of it is, we as a people have been kneeling before the American people for 5-6 years, and I don't like Cap. I love Cap's PR team that took him sitting on the bench and flipped it and turned it into the amazing, huge thing it is now that has so many people angry and calling people un-American for praying for change. I am pro-BLM. I am not, and I repeat, not pro-rioting. I don't think that gives us, BLM and or Antifa, us again, a good image. Again, I'm an independent. I don't know anybody. So I am speaking when I say us. I'm anti-fascist. That makes me Antifa. Antifa is lacking leadership. BLM is lacking leadership in the field. We need sergeants. We need people that are not afraid to take the hits. Yes, we know the government is going to target us with RICOs and all this extra stuff, but we need people that are willing to step up and start taking control of these situations and start ostracizing the people that are rioting and that are causing harm and all of that. But at the same time, I need to stop and thank those people because you got us somewhere. I appreciate your sacrifice, and I know a lot of you are going to prison, and I don't know what to tell you about all that. I appreciate the fact that you got us the results that we couldn't get while we were kneeling and praying. But at the same time, the imagery that is putting upon us that are kneeling and praying for change, trying to get the police to come on board, because we need the police to rectify the situation. We all need to turn and get the better laws, yada yada. Yes, BLM is a necessity. It's a sad necessity. It's sad that people need to go out and remind people that Black Lives Matter. And I understand that when the organization was originally gathered together, it was literally to make the point that there were Black people that cared about other Black lives and that they weren't going to allow them to continue to die without any legal recourse. And that's not a bad thing. We as white people have the same problem. Our poor, our homeless, they nobody cares. My sister, it sucks, man. It really sucks that the police are literally hired at a below average. I'm not going to say that way. They have to test, and if they test too high, they don't get the job type thing. That we need a better educated police force. These police have to go out there and argue complicated laws or just make arrests on a whim. And some of us that know the law are fighting back, like Mr. Floyd. He was not in the wrong in saying, hey, don't point that gun in my head. I sat here and waited for you. Oh my God. Can people not see that? All the other stuff aside, it was Memorial Day. I was telling people you shouldn't be getting drunk and loaded on Memorial Day. We should be thinking about our fallen. You know what I mean? I even told people it was a good day to take a knee, but that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, kneeling on a man until he dies and creating what we have today. So yeah, I believe in BLM. I believe they got what it takes to get this done. I believe that it's a necessity. But I don't believe they're anti-American. I don't believe in the tying in of the political jargon and I guess all that extra stuff. Don't know, don't care. What I care about is the coming together for police reform. Not to attack the police, but to get the police to where they don't have to be afraid to come into these neighborhoods. And the way to do that is, I hate to say it, in the drug war. Figure out some sort of way to make it not so profitable and criminal. I don't know what else to say beyond that. I mean, I know that's a doozy. Nobody wants to hear it, but that's what's killing that's what did it. That's why these neighborhoods are so hard to police. It's because there's a double standard set. All lives matter. You don't need to say it. That's stupid. But anybody that says that but can't look at the numbers and realize that they're arguing against themselves, they're kind of special. People get offended when someone says Black Lives Matter. If maybe you need to get offended, I don't know. You really aren't doing anybody any favors if you're not getting out there and speaking for specific people or speaking with intent that's real. Yes, all lives matter. Get out there and talk about police reform. Those police that are scared for their lives matter. That's the reason they're scared, shaking their guns too. I mean, I'm not even trying to talk trash about them. I wouldn't want to do their job. My son wants to, so I need to work on police reform. My daughter wants to, so I need to work on police reform. That's how I think. You know, that's the way I look at things. All lives do matter, but that doesn't need to be said. It needs to be shown. The fact of the matter is, if you say that and you're arguing against people who are literally speaking for people's lives who have been shown unequivocally not to matter, and I mean base lives, all of us, the poor, blacks that have been targeted, put in the middle of this drug war, like literally provided the fuel it took to create this mess, while we're being told say no to drugs, and the white privilege real estate scam was being created. I mean, all lives matter, but you can't really go out there and use that as a rebuttal against people saying that, hey, our children's lives matter. Can we get a better future? It doesn't. To me, it's a retarded, and I mean retarded as it just slows down progress to even try to bring that. I would prefer that people pull up White Lives Matter signs, go out there and protest the lower class white people who haven't been spoken for. And it not be a racial divide, but a racial connection. We all have a common problem. Blue lives too, the same thing, the laws. I mean, oh man, I couldn't imagine being a cop, having to give drugs for information to get another drug dealer off the street, that type of stuff. When will the madness cease?
Yeah, I really understand. And so in terms of America, there has been a lot of division, and in terms of ideology, you know, I could easily find someone who completely disagrees with everything you say, but in a very diverse country, how do you think a nation or a government could make policies, make laws that makes everybody happy when they have different views?
Honestly, I only think the only people I think that could actually pull something out are probably the native people. And I don't mean to say that everybody knows that I'm trying to get that smaller party represented in a larger way, but I believe that they might have the answer to that. I don't. I don't. There would have to be. We would all have to pick a community leader that, you know, I would almost say have to be tribal councils Knights of the Round Table things, that there have to be, I mean, absolute power absolutely corrupts. We all know that, and it's just too much. And power's addictive. It's what I've been trying to teach people through the churches that I've walked away from and walked back to, and it's an addictive substance that we need to control our desire for. I don't know. I would assume, and assuming is dangerous, and I would hope to be someday. There's some people I would really like to talk to about this stuff, but they avoid me like the plague because I'm not scared of their little clique. But I do believe that if we had councils, and the councils, you know, it would take councils. It couldn't be one person, because then it's too easy for one person to overlook the many other people's concerns. I don't think anybody is really suited for that yet. Yes, diversity is an issue. It's complicated. It requires resolve. It requires full responsibility on all parties. I mean, everybody would really, really, really have to really think about what matters most in terms of laws. For us to find a set of laws that we could all agree and adhere to, it's almost a pipe dream, but I believe it can be done. But we would have to do it as a people. That's just something that is a little bit beyond my individual scope of work, I guess. I mean, I would always fall back on the Bible and scriptures and be like, it's got to be out there somewhere, you know, the actual answers, because, you know, I'm sure we've already discussed it. Somehow or another, it got thrown away.
Okay.
That's what I'm sure.
Being an individual, this is the last question. And James, I just want to say that it's been a great conversation with you. And I just want to ask you this one last thing. Being someone who came out of the system, and you were dealt cards, life gave you this, and you say it is what it is. But what is the approach or the attitude a person must have when it comes to finding happiness in life, finding purpose, and solving the problems that one faces?
I love music. Music got me through everything. Obviously, a lot of people don't like my favorite band, Suicidal Tendencies, but without Mike Muir's words, I would have quit. You guys, I mean, we haven't even discussed what happened before I fell into love with music. But some bad stuff happened. I didn't know what love was until, like, I probably still don't. But I had misconceptualizations of what love was for a long time. Love is what matters most. The Bible tells us, you will know my people by the way they love one another. There'll be no other signifying marker. That's all I know that matters most. I love, and I love to love my entire life. The counselors, when I was a kid, you know, they would be like, how are you still laughing? Like, they were upset that I didn't need them. You know, I know that we need to seek wisdom as the riches of the earth. All the scriptures, I don't need to tell them to people. We've heard them our whole life. But God's face is the only face that really, really matters. I mean, I hate it when I feel like I'm pulling away from his image or making people look away even for the slightest. So I won't go to churches, which hurts me because I need the bond, I need the spirit, I need the people just as much as I need love matters most. It's hard to go through life as an individual knowing that you can't bind yourself to too much, because it's the narrow path that we seek. That's all I can really say on it. My life's been hard. I don't think anybody's life hasn't been. You know what I mean? I just get amazed when I listen to the songs of people, the songs of man, and you really have the opportunity to see what's been hidden. Yeah, there's a lot of evil stuff out there, bad. The world is not a pretty place right now. I don't know what to do about those other people. I know when they come at me, I'll come back. I don't know what else to do but to survive. Children need a better future. Since the beginning of time, it's been a battle of good and evil. We've failed to fully understand why. I've tried to understand evil. I know the evils that I thought I understood turned out, it's just crazy, because in the end, we all work for God. Whatever you choose to call Abba, the Father, the Sky Father, Allah. I mean, he has many, many names. In the end of the day, it all works for him. It's very, very important that we seek his face in all things we do, and love is the key. It's the key that locks and unlocks everything. I don't know what else to tell people other than don't stretch yourself too thin trying to save people that just want to hurt you. I mean, that's what I've done to myself over and over and over again. And that's just, I guess, my purpose on this earth is to, I don't know, keep fighting the good fight. I believe that love is the key. That's all I can really tell people. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I mean, but God showed his face to me, and for some reason he hides from many, many people, or they just refuse to see him. I don't know how to tell anybody to see him. I can't save anybody. You got to save yourself. You got to reach for the hand. You got to pull the rope. You got to do something other than sit there and say, "Oh, why me?" That's my thing. Right now I'm down at the bottom again. It's cool. I'll get out of it. It's stressful. Life is stressful. But, love will see me through this like it saw me through every other obstacle course I've had to run, every gauntlet. All we can do is love and let love live. And then, I don't know, everything else will play itself out. That's the best answer I can give on that.
Yeah, awesome. So that's the end of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is your host, Elmo Ador Jr. And thank you for listening in. And please subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow this. Please. Thanks.
It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like Grandma's meatballs, or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Meet CocoVia Memory Plus, with some of the most researched plant-based nutrients harnessing the natural compounds within the cocoa bean. To improve memory and brain function in just 8 to 12 weeks, try CocoVia Memory Plus capsules. Order today at cocovia.com. That's COCOAVIA.com, and use coupon code CCV20 to get 20% off your order. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease.